Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakudash. That belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutation to the hopefully elect that day. Akim to the Dakim that do the singing the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the Rishaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled Plagues. All right, severe plagues are installed for America, right? Because, you know, one is prophesied that it will happen, and two, we're just looking at the stages of where we're at in terms of things happening. You know, you had all types of planetary alignments, blood moons, war escalations. The Lord is going to act. The Lord is acting and will act upon more prophecies, okay, because this place is ripe for destruction. And, you know, we pray that the Most High does this thing as soon as possible, because Scripture says hasten the day. And we want to get the hell out of here. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 1. It says, woe be unto thee, Babylon, and Asia, woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. All code names, all right, for America, okay? It says, gird up yourselves with cloth of sack and hair, right? So these are indications of mourning, right? Meaning woes, mourning, that's what's coming here. It says, bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand, right? That destruction is going to come via the nuclear missiles, all right? And a brother made a very good point at camp. He was saying that war could come with a lot of prophecies, all right? War can come with famine, you see? War can come with Jacob's trouble. Reading on, it says, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back, all right? That great instrument of destruction, all right, is the holy missiles, okay? That's sitting in their silos waiting for the Lord to release them, man, all right? They're part of the Lord's host. They're part of the Lord's armies, right? The Most High is not going to gift this man with such a vast weapon, a vast level of engineering, all right, just for it to sit and collect dust and cobwebs. No, those things are going to be used, man, all right? So it says, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it, right? No, this is what you call rhetorical questions, all right? You know, if I hit you, if I bump into you by accident, we bump into each other, and somebody say, hey, what are you, a jackass? You don't answer the question, right? So it's the same thing here. We know that this fire is not going to be quenched, all right? Once the Most High is killing it, it's a wrap. Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? What are the plagues? You got famine, you got Jacob's trouble, all right? By the way, famine is a lack of access to food. When bridges, that's why I'm saying these prophecies could dovetail each other, all right? Because when all hell breaks loose and bridges are closed down, you're gonna have a lot of bridges are closed down, you're gonna have a lack of access to food, man, all right? And places like New York City, for example, got 18 million people squished up in this small little city area. Even though New York State as a whole is large, in the city itself, and that's how most states are, they got these cities where they jam a lot of people into a small area, all right? So when shit kick, people are going to be scrambling, all right? You can't worry about, they're not going to be worrying about the cops or what have you, because the cops are going to be trying to tend and provide for their own families, okay? I think what Gerald Cervantes quote is on people lose it all, they lose it, some shit like that, you know? 6, may any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may any one quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn? More rhetorical questions. May one turn away again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? Right, if somebody shoots a gun, right, and can you just say, hey, bullet, come back in the chamber? It doesn't work that way. Once that bullet is shot, that's it. Same thing too with these missiles, you know? Once these missiles are let loose, it's over with, okay? Now, I was hearing that they're trying to do peace talks. Iran is trying to negotiate peace talks. That's what I was listening to. I was, listening to my stock market news. They were saying that they're trying to negotiate peace talks. There will never be peace in the Middle East, man. Never, all right? How many lessons we got to do on it? How many prophecies we got to bring out? That's where World War III begins, okay? The mighty Lord send the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? Nobody. He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? It says the earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with the waves, from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord and before the glory of his power. You know, so when them thermonuclear missiles hit, you're gonna have waters dried up. Okay, you see, the first death, the flood, right? The fishes were spared, okay, because they could survive underwater. The second death is nuclear missiles. They ain't gonna survive that, man. All right, a lot of these islands are gonna be flooded because, you know, the earth is like a crystal ball. You ever, the crystal balls with the snows in it? When you shake it up, you know, water swishes all over the place. So when this earth rocks to and fro, you're gonna have earthquakes and mile-high tsunamis that's just gonna devour land masses, man. It's gonna be a completely different world when this thing is all said and done. It says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. These are the nuclear missiles, man. The bow represents the silos, and they're not going to miss. Scriptures tell you that the so-called white man lifts himself up in his brigandine, right? Which is his missile defense system. But these missiles, when the Lord have them do their thing, hypersonic missiles, there's not going to be no intercepting these, okay? Once those things are shot, and you speak to most military people, you know, former, you know, Marines and stuff that I know firsthand, he said, look, he said it, once some hypersonic missiles are let off, there's no evacuating, it's just, that's it, you know, because you can't intercept them. They could change trajectory. They don't have a predetermined path. It says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Okay, into the ends of the world, which is America, right? Because the ends of the world for Ezra, the one writing this book, would be California, right? The uttermost west. Okay, so these are going to be shot into the ends of the world, to America. We just read the first verse when it talked about woe be unto the Egypt and Babylon and Egypt. This is all going into America, all right? The daughter of Babylon, all right? The spiritual Egypt, okay? Behold, verse 14, 2 Ezra 16 and 14. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come up on the earth. Right. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Right. And again, that main plague, you got several different plagues that's coming to America. All right. But that main plague is going into that thermonuclear destruction. Let's bring it out. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. Who's Jerusalem? The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Jerusalem's a people before it's a place. Okay? That's another reason America is called Egypt, because ancient Egypt and spiritual Egypt is the only place where the children of Israel were in captivity together. Okay? The only major captivity where we're in captivity together. Talk about the northern tribes and the southern tribes. All right? Because under the Babylonian captivity, that was just Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the southern kingdom, all right? And when Jake was getting beat up by the Assyrians, that was mainly the northern kingdom, all the way up to the last king, which was Hosea, I believe, all right? Then they fled, a lot of them fled and came over here to the Americas, okay? They had that movie 1492 Conquest, something like that, and in it, Christopher Columbus talked about the book, using the book of Ezra as a reference to get over to the West Indian Islands. Okay, Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague where the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. What can do that? You know, just think about it. You're in the ancient world. What can do that? It has to be concentrated fire for your flesh to consume while you stand on your feet. You know, if I hit you with some regular fire, you're gonna fall in agonizing pain. This is saying that while you're standing, your flesh shall consume away. Just watch the movie Terminator 2: Judgment Day, and then look at that scene with Sarah Connor where she was dreaming of the Judgment Day. As a future reference, that's one of our major camp signs. When we used to, go out with the camp signs, you see her burning while she stood upon her feet. Where did they get that from? They got it from the scriptures. Okay. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouths. All right. So their eyes, literally, going to be consumed and burned up. But this is going into their visions of the future, right? The tongue is also literal, but it also represents their lies. Okay? So, it's just a beautiful thing, man. Thinking about the kingdom and this place being done away with, man. Alright? Because this goes again. If you're a scriptural person, if you're a man that believes in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, America contradicts everything we read about in the scriptures. This place is completely out of order. It needs to be destroyed. Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Again, going to the missiles. 16. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Right? I mean, look, 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter, in the 1st verse says, there be many created, but few shall be saved. When you read verse 8 down to 3. So, the bulk of the people you see here are going to be destroyed. And look, this is how come you can't get dismayed, when you go out to a camp, you only see a few brothers, all right? Because the Lord has always dealt with a small sanctuary, all right? And most of these people are unbelievers. Romans, the 3rd chapter, 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. You can't be troubled by their incredulity. You got to be like Noah. All right. If Noah listened to everybody, we wouldn't be here. Okay. So he listened to the Most High, and the Most High rewarded him in his house. We're going to do the same, Lord willing, to the very end. Right. Our brothers of the Most High keeps that Holy Spirit upon us. Okay. Now I want to go into some of the other plagues that's coming into here, like death and famine. So, Jeremiah chapter 15 verse 2, it says, and it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, such as for death to death, and such as for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as for the captivity to the captivity. History repeats itself. These things, some of the stuff that Jake went through in the ancient world, guess what? Is going to come right back, such as death, such as famine. The sword being any instrument of destruction, whether that be a gun, a bat, a knife, or whatever. Okay, captivity, concentration camps, being locked up. All right, persecution is going to come heavy on the people of the Lord. Okay, and we're going to be in the midst of that, but the Most High is going to have that hedge to protect his men. Okay. At some point also the scriptures speak about the Most High lifting up a standard, okay, meaning divine intervention. Okay. There's certain men the Most High want to perish in the faith. There's certain men the Most High want to give spiritual power. There's certain men that are going to make it on the chariot. The Most High has different things allotted for his men, okay, his men that believe, but the main thing is you want to maintain the faith. That's the main thing, okay? So that's what's coming here. And if anybody else is teaching otherwise, they're lying to you, okay? I'll give you a prime example. The IUIC, I believe they're teaching that when Jacob's trouble happened, we're going to be beamed out of it. That is not true, okay? That is not true. We're going to be seeing that, okay? Scripture says you're going to have tribulation 10 days. So we're going to be in the midst of that, okay? And this will come to pass. This will come to pass. It's going to catch a lot of these people off guard because they're not on the watchtower, all right? And they're on their ease. They're on their lees, okay? To them I say this, Jeremiah 14 and 15. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushua, concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. So that's another thing. See that? You got prophets out there that will call on the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, but are not sent by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. It says, prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. Right? And when the scriptures are saying land, the way I'm using it is I'm talking about the people of Israel. All right? That, because they're saying, well, Jacob's trouble, we're going to be beamed out of that. Nah. Hell no. Okay? We're going to be around for these plagues. And that's when, look, the scriptures talk about being pilgrims. We're going to be on the move. All right? I can't tell you, I say this in every lesson, I can't tell you, none of us can tell you step for step what to do in that day. I can't say go here. Now, you know what? You're in Connecticut, you want to drive more north, or you want to drive more. So we can't give that advice. The only advice we can tell you is have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua when these things happen. The Most High is going to guide your steps. Okay? The Most High is going to have you say what you need to say. All right? And he will deliver his elect. He always has. He always comes through on that. All right? So, Abaratazah, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that we out of here, man. Brothers get rest. Brothers have been laboring, our apostles, elders laboring for decades. We get our reward, right? Which is this place out of here and a crown from Yahweh Shah, man. Okay? So, let's keep fighting the good fight of the faith, Akim. All right? Let's remain diligent. Let's remain consistent. All right? Most High is moving this thing along, man. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is moving this thing along. That, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, B'Hashem Chakodash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Mill, some true well. Salutation to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim, to Sadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.